The G7 Summit, a gathering of the world's leading economies, was designed as a forum for international cooperation and the discussion of pressing global issues. But the best-laid plans were abruptly overtaken by a crisis, a sudden and unexpected turn of events that would test the resolve of these global leaders. Israel's long-simmering conflict with Iran exploded into open hostility, with military actions and escalating rhetoric threatening to destabilize the entire region. This sudden eruption overshadowed every item on the summit's agenda, pushing aside planned discussions on trade, climate change, and economic policy. The United States, a key player on the world stage and led at the time by President Donald Trump, found itself in a pivotal position. The nation was thrust into the center of a rapidly developing situation, requiring immediate and decisive action. This was more than just a regional dispute. It was a rapidly escalating geopolitical storm with the potential to draw in multiple nations and reshape alliances. What began as routine diplomacy, the usual exchange of pleasantries and policy discussions, quickly transformed into a frantic scramble to manage a potential regional war, a crisis that threatened to spiral out of control. The summit's calm and carefully curated setting, a symbol of international cooperation and stability, stood in stark contrast to the chaos erupting thousands of miles away in the Middle East, a region teetering on the brink of all-out war. World leaders abruptly shifted gears, moving from planned policy debates to urgent crisis management, their focus now solely on de-escalation and preventing further conflict. Every decision and statement made by these leaders now carried enormous weight, with the potential to either calm tensions or further inflame the situation. The world was watching with bated breath, eager to see how the US and its allies would respond to this escalating crisis, and what role they would play in shaping the future of the region. This story unpacks the details of the Israeli strikes, examining the motivations behind the actions and the potential consequences. We delve into President Trump's response, analyzing his statements and actions in the context of this international crisis. And we explore the deep divisions exposed within American politics, as the crisis ignited debates over foreign policy and the role of the United States in global affairs. The choices made in these tense and critical hours will undoubtedly echo for years to come, shaping the geopolitical landscape and influencing international relations. Ultimately, these decisions will play a significant role in shaping the future of the Middle East and the broader landscape of global security, with lasting implications for nations around the world. The G7 summit commenced with the usual fanfare, a gathering of world leaders aiming to address pressing global issues. Expectations were high, with hopes pinned on collaborative solutions and renewed commitments to international cooperation. Amidst the discussions, President Trump offered a surprising proposition, hinting at a possible new nuclear deal with Iran. This suggestion sparked considerable interest and speculation among attendees and observers alike. It was perceived as a surprising olive branch, a potential shift in policy that could de-escalate tensions in the region. The international community watched with bated breath, eager to see if this overture would lead to meaningful dialogue. This was especially notable after his administration's controversial withdrawal from the JCPOA, a move that had strained relations with key allies and heightened concerns about nuclear proliferation. For a brief moment, a window of opportunity seemed to open, and diplomacy seemed not only possible, but also promising, offering a path towards peaceful resolution and stability. The prospect of renewed negotiations offered a glimmer of hope in an otherwise turbulent geopolitical landscape, but that hope vanished abruptly, as news broke of a major military escalation, shattering the fragile optimism that had briefly taken hold. The world held its breath, bracing for the potential consequences of this sudden turn of events. Israel had launched strikes, a preemptive move that dramatically altered the course of events. The target, Iran's nuclear facilities, a move that ratcheted up tensions to a dangerous level and raised the specter of wider conflict. President Trump abruptly left the summit, his departure adding to the sense of unease and uncertainty. This sudden exit signaled the gravity of the crisis, underscoring the severity of the situation and the potential for far-reaching consequences. The G7's focus shifted instantly, pivoting from planned discussions on economic policy to an emergency session addressing the escalating conflict. The agenda was now dominated by the threat of war, overshadowing all other priorities and highlighting the precariousness of international peace. The events exposed the limits of international forums, revealing the challenges of maintaining stability in the face of unilateral action and escalating tensions. The limitations became starkly apparent in the face of real-time conflict, where diplomatic solutions seemed increasingly elusive. The summit will be remembered not as a triumph of diplomacy, but as a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. It will not be remembered for unity, but for the deep divisions and conflicting interests that continue to plague the international community. Instead, it will be remembered for how quickly hope gave way, replaced by the grim reality of escalating conflict. The summit served as a somber illustration of how easily diplomacy can collapse, yielding to the harsh reality of war.